What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 10 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Hellbeard Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, an interesting turn of events saw us turn upon the forces of Arcan the Black, who, as it turns out, really does not like us. And, well, banishing him or forcing him to crumble away for the nonce is probably a major contributor to it. We now have probably no hope of piecing out with him. The major problem with this is that the Tomb Kings have a tendency to have approximately 1 billion armies, and the fact that this entire border of ours is completely undefended. So we're going to have to reposition and, well, get ready to deal with this and the influx of essentially infinite armies from them, because their armies are free and they'll just keep coming until we either subjugate them, destroy them, or peace out with them. But again, not super likely. I was hoping originally to be able to turn the Chevalier de Lyonesse and the Hemery Tomb Kings to fight the followers of Nagash, which would normally be what happens, but it didn't work out. So we're just going to have to deal with it ourselves. Nervous laughter from me. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, though, let's just see. Abnagg Hellbeard and Sumayazgax are just going to keep sitting at Genina until hopefully you pick up that trait. We have a little bit in the way of raw materials, but I think we're actually saving it to grab a prototype Mega Mortar at the Awakening, or possibly a Fane Guard to add to the defenses, in order to help against the, well, incoming enemy piles. You know what? I think we'll save the rest of our resources for now, because we do have the reduction in resources coming in one turn. The applied assignments, rush construction, and construction cost reductions. And by the looks of it, we're going to need to build a new army, so we're going to start moving that out, or start recruiting some new stuff at Talashland, which also means getting more gold banners and refineries for the requisite armaments and gold. Yeah, alrighty. You guys are hopefully going to be fine. You can just max out Tyrant there, buddy. And your Hobgobs or Gob Laborers aren't going to heal, but that's life. You will probably continue fighting the rats, I take it. Let's see, how strong are you, incidentally? Strength rank 19 and settlements 8 versus strength rank 75 and settlements 5. It's a bit of an issue. Actually, to keep this in our favor, we may want to actually knock Itza out as fast as possible. Granted, both of these sort of sides of the factions don't like us, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. I guess we're just gonna have to turn then and see what happens, eh? Alright. Diplomacy check real quick. Ooh, Legion of Asgore is almost wiped out, but, well, that's their problem, I suppose. They shouldn't have declared war on Goldtooth, which is our ally, or will someday be our ally. Sorry, Drajuath. And Disciples of Hashut are also in a pretty bad way against the Masters of Innovation, which is kind of interesting. Go figure. Alrighty, anyway, I was just taking a look at the other Chaos Dwarfs. Let's see, we got trade agreements possible with the Ecstatic Legions, the War Host of the Apocalypse, but not so good for us right now or ever. And the Accursed Troop wants peace, but that ain't happening, so yeah, that's an end turn. Skip. And then the turn. Let's see if we get attacked. I also got to double check on how many turns we have remaining for the convoys. I'm pretty sure it's like 4 or 5, because we sent them the long way around through Norska. Eshwadaland, the Cult of Pleasure, do not declare war on us or on the Jade Dragon as of yet, which is great because we obviously we don't have the ability to fight on so many fronts right now. And the Chaos Dwarfs are an interesting faction in that they really do incentivize going out and taking a lot of territory as quickly as you can, and not so much playing them tall, simply because every single tower you pick up, and after the tech, every single factory you pick up increases your conclave influence, which you could certainly use. Anyway, 5 turns of melee attack and weapon strength versus 20 armor and melee defense. Yeah, I gotta go for the armor. I mean, the Arachnarok is heavily armored. The Man-Eaters are not. Frankly, everybody in this army is pretty heavily armored, but once again, it's the armor and the melee defense is probably worth more, so sturdier armor it is. Alrighty, there's that rush construction applied assignments. Oh, great, a free Ogre Blade. Woo-hoo. Anyway, the techs are next. I'm a little bit tempted to go all the way through to extended shifts, but it's going to take 8 turns to get there. Wartime economy is also a decent pickup, but I'm not sure that right now we can And we can pony up the 1,000 raw materials. We could start on Ruinous negotiations, which are my favorite kind of negotiations, because we still have to get towards Conclave dominance. And the more we increase our Conclave influence per turn, the better it's going to be. Also, how's that peace looking? Minus 468, not great. Alright, every turn for now, though, we will want to check the Chevalier de Lyonesse and Camry to see if we can't get them to turn upon the followers in the Gash. Minus 42, and... where are Bretonnia? Chevalier. Join war against followers in the Gash. Minus 7.9, it's not bad. What if we join war against the Exiles? Minus 5.4. Oh, it's so close, but they won't even do it for 10k. Because they don't like us. Well, hopefully we can get them to do it once the Exiles are wiped out. They are down, I believe, just to Death Gorge, their capital. It is, unfortunately, by the looks of it, not under siege, however. Well, we'll see. Just gonna have to keep checking. And... Gor-Rok, why would you do this? Okay, well now we have to attack him. I mean, we have no choice. I do wish I remembered what his defeat rate was. And I do not. And because I don't know which of our armies would be the better to pick up that defeat rate, as it's likely that we won't be able to get it again. What's the... you have 2 settlements. Oh. Actually, maybe we will be able to. Ah, interesting. Okay, well, we'll get back to that in a second. What about you guys? Rugni, are you able to reach the Chamber Visions? You are not. Alright, so... wait, what about you? No, also no. Alright, Rugni, I'm going to have to ask you to go into ambush stance and go set it up right here. In Slaaneshi territory. Then we'll try to use this little Garbo army in order to bait them into attacking. And then, I guess you can march stance and also try to bait them into attacking. Alright, hopefully we can catch out one of these little Garbo armies, but frankly their defenses are pretty weak here, so we should be able to take them on regardless. In theory. In practice, we'll see. Next up, you two. Since we have to switch to new armies needing to be generated, I think that you will, you're actually going to be needed here. Switch the way you're going, unfortunately. Then, we are going to need to spend some resources. Alright, so you go here and you go here. Oh, you know what? If we're going to need to build some military structures, I think we're actually going to need to go for the wartime economy. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll start on the Ash level, though, because we're going to need fire glaives. If we're going to fight Tomb Kings, we need to focus on fire damage, because most of the skeletal units are very weak to fire, and we'll need plenty of anti-large. So yeah, we'll do this, and we'll need to... oh, you're already upgraded to tier 2, which will give us the anti-large Bull Centaur renders. That's good. What else will we potentially need here? Demolisher rockets, or, yeah, the Hell Shriekers, Death Shriekers. Oh, they are good against Tomb King constructs. We can, in theory, upgrade you instead, but maybe it's better to just upgrade you here as well, because this is going to be our main recruitment province. Frankly, I'm almost tempted to get rid of the money building here, just because we're recruiting everything here, but, you know, money isn't perfect right now, so... Alright, I build up the ironworks for now, and we'll upgrade it to the next tier, next level, once we have the reductions. Alrighty. Now, is there any factory that we have currently up and running? Well, I can't upgrade these anymore. That we could, in theory, rush both of these. And I think we should. To increase the generation of armaments and such. So, rush construction. Rush construction. We should have enough to be able to afford this. We will upgrade the... oh, gold refinery is expensive. Ooh, we can get the charcoal forge, though. We need a stockpiling tech in order to increase its efficiency, but, you know, we'll do that later. And we cannot yet afford to upgrade the gold refinery, but, you know, we will, eventually. Alright, well, it's as good as it's getting right now, and I think, or I guess we save the rest of our money, or I guess we could build the armaments here as well, the gunsmith. Yeah, for now. I mean, we do have this thing that will increase the armaments production of the place anyway. Yeah, that was most of our resources. I was hoping to hold on to some, but alas, no dice. Alrighty, is the Grimtide son. It looks like we're going to need to level you, sir. Not by much, though. You know what? These guys keep suffering so much missile damage that I fear that we're going to have to get you some... 20% physical resistance versus... I do like the Winds of Magic cost reduction. Ooh, I'm not actually sure which of those I want more. And of these, it's probably for Thirst for Magic. I don't actually care about the cooldown for spells with fire spells, mostly because, well, I mean, Cascading Fire Cloak is decent for spammage. Keeping that Kindle flame up. I'm not a big fan of Fireball since it's too costly for what it does. I mean, it's only slightly cheaper than a Burning Head, and I mean, considering the damage potential, it's a huge difference. But anyway, it's just that this is completely useless, and Voice of Hashut, I mean, the Vigor Loss reduction is nice, but otherwise kind of... You know what, I don't know, I'm just gonna hold off on those for now. Let's get Headdress of Jar. We had to get that anyway, so yeah. You need to get towards Flow of Battle, sir, although... maybe we'll stop on by and grab Grotesque Mutations for the fear and terror causing, as that could be helpful as well. You have gone through We Are the Elite now. We don't care about this stuff because it's only when being under siege. Therefore, we're gonna pop you into Piercing Shots as we move you towards Extra Powder. Alright. That looks good. You two don't need to level, though Scav Growlish will lead an army, and I do wonder whether he'll be more in need of Gor-Rok's defeat trait, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. You could, in theory, move to reinforce. That's a question. Or we could leave you here in case of the Tomb King sailing over. I should say the inevitability of the Tomb King sailing over. Oh, actually, frankly, we're going to need you here, because there's going to be a giant pile of blizzards defending Itza. Alright, fine. Head to Ashlodal for now. We may move you over, then we're going to have to ask the rats to join the war against Itza. Join war against Itza, like so. And, it's a little bit of cash. Like so. Alrighty. Sorry, Gor-Rok, but this was kind of an inevitability. You just hate us so much that it's... Alright, I guess we're attacking you with our main stack. You can move... I want you to not waste so much movement points. Go this way. And you go... Wait, is Gor-Rok unbreakable? He is not. I think one of his items might give him unbreakability for a time. Okay, we just gotta be careful about that. You go here. I fear that you won't be able to reinforce, and I would like you to reach the XP. Alright, go here, then you might not be able to reinforce after in the second fight. That is what it is. You can go into regular stance, and you can go into regular stance as well, as it's not needed to lose that extra vigor. You will strike at Gor-Rok, who will presumably run. Will not run. That's nice. Well, actually, it does... Oh, wow, that is a lot of fast movers. Alright, admittedly, I have some concerns about this, but we should be able to make it. The big concern being, of course, that we don't have a lot of goblin laborers, but the settlement garrison should help out with this. You, Scarecrow Banner, can go on this guy. We need somebody to be able to protect the Sky Lanterns. Granted, this army won't have flyers, but other ones will. Anyway, go. Alrighty, here we go. Big pile of lizards under Gor-Rok. Of course, we still have to be careful because troop quality-wise, well, they have better than we do. Certainly with all of those Temple Guard and Blessed Desaurus warriors, who may as well be as good as Temple Guard, are going to be a lot better than our basic Chaos Dwarf warriors. Not even to Infernal Guard or Infernal Ironsworn yet, but we can't afford it, and the AI can. Well, let's see how well that does for them. Obviously, we're going to start off by Bombardment, Magical and Mundane. Oh, actually, there is no Mundane. I think the projectiles of the Magma Cannons are all magical. But anyway, and annoying the enemy with our Skullcrackers, moving right through while they are slowed down by those Gehenna's Golden Hounds, debuffing them with a little flammable from our Demonsmith Sorcerer's pistol support. And then chucking an Amber Spear at Gor-Rok himself. He takes a tiny amount of damage. He has 170 armor, though. Like, the likelihood of damaging him easily is, well, non-existent, pretty much. Actually, I think out of our units, probably only the blunderbusses are likely to actually do any kind of significant damage to him. I suppose, in theory, if we surround him with all of our heroes and then severely debuff him, maybe. But yeah, 72 melee defense, and this is at level 15, good lord. Anyway, he may be tough, but so was Skulltaker, and, well, that didn't help him over much, did it? Anyway, Gor-Rok's little army outside, or I was gonna say outside the settlement, but outside the main army, is pretty much destroyed. Our Sky Lanterns continue floating overhead and annoying them, not doing too much damage overall as yet, but as we've seen, they do rack up damage over time. I wanted to get them in range of of the newly arriving army so that they could fire at both of them at the same time and increase their damage. There we go. Oh yeah, okay. So these guys, the Blessed Source Horse, oh, they have Ancient Mind from the Slan that's just arrived on field. And Gor-Rok is taking the occasional range shot from our Infernal Castellan, which originally moved up just so that he could chuck his Amber Spear, but now he's firing his little shotgun blasts at Gor-Rok, and slowly but surely dishing out a teensy bit of damage. Which is great. Alrighty, here comes the main stack, however. On the bright side, we don't really have to worry about the enemy range units too much. The big issue is, of course, the unit of Razor Dawn hunting packs. If they can tear apart a unit of Chaos Knights, and with a few volleys, they can certainly bring down a Sky Lantern in seconds. So we're going to stop them in their tracks by popping that Vortex of Gehenna's Golden Hounds directly on top of them, partly to damage them because they are rather fragile, and partly just to allow our Sky Lanterns to not so much retreat, but to advance towards our own position together with the enemy army, firing on them all the while. And speaking of firing on them, our magma cannons have been doing a lot of work over the course of the battle, but admittedly the enemy has also been dodging them a fair bit, and well, we'll see how much work they can actually do against the massive pile of feral Cold Ones and Cold One Riders that are coming in with the second army. On the bright side, by peeling away from the main stack, they're going to have a little bit of an issue here. And ooh, slowed down by the combination of a Magma Cannon and Blunderbusses, this unit of Cold One Riders takes about 70% of their HP and damage before both of the Skullcrackers smash into their lines and lock them in place. We also have a pretty decent position, so the enemy has to climb up the hill in order to move towards us. The Sky Lanterns looking pretty good as they float overhead and kind of, if not quite match our color scheme, very much nearly so, because the actual balloons are kind of fiery, right? And all of our projectiles match. They match the colors of our projectiles, so that works nicely. Anyway, still distracting all of the enemy flyers, all of the enemy fast movers as best we can, Cold One Spear Riders and Feral Cold Ones alike, not getting through to our Blunderbusses, and as the critical damage dealers of this particular army, we just gotta keep them firing. At long last, Gor-Rok has moved into range, and we use 2 Blunderbusses to focus him down, but also debuff him as best we can. The Withering, and when he gets in melee range, we'll hit him with that Enfeebling Foe as well. I did try to originally, or I have the idea of sending the Bull Centaur Torok in to fight him a little bit, but that seems like a bad idea, and we'll need to fight with multiple heroes at the same time. The enemy has hit our front lines as well, the Blazing Beards of Bergerac distracting 2 Saurus Scarvets, and at last it's time to hit Gor-Rok, so we hit him with the Transmutation of Lead and the Enfeebling Foe and the Withering, dropping his melee attack and defense significantly, and then coming down upon him with both of the Centaur Torok and the Sorcerer Prophet to demagicify his weapons. Alright, and it looks like Gor-Rok is done, losing half HP to the Blunderbusses to the advance. Oh, he's still fighting though. Still fighting with 5% HP. Oh, I'd like to double up on his defeat rate if possible. Okay, there we go. He'll rout. Or he'll break at the very least. Lovely. If you're wondering where those Razor Dawns are, we did summon a unit of the whatchamacallums, the Kadai Fireborn, right on top of them in the hopes that they would destroy them, but alas, they did not. Luckily, however, they do draw close to the Blunderbusses as they attempt to escape from the pile of Goblin Laborers, before taking hits from the Magma Cannons and the Skullcrackers as well. Ooh, Skullcrackers looking absolutely magnificent and moving through the sort of burning ground left by the Magma Cannons. Beautiful. And the Temple Guard have arrived, the slowest elements of the enemy army. These ones barely mobile at all, thanks to MAME and everything else together. And with 3 movement speed, they're kind of stuck in the fire, and that's a place the lizards don't want to be. I'm sure they'd like to warm themselves, being cold-blooded and all, but that's a little bit much. Beautiful. That Temple Guard unit is done for and also pinned by the Goblin Laborers as the Magma Cannon continues to fire upon both units. The Slan has arrived, only to get charged by the Centaur Torok and the Lamasu riding Sorcerer Prophet, and with the Slans routing, no more Ancient Mind, and the enemy army will shatter. Beautiful. Alright, looks like we did pretty darn well. The critical thing was to keep the Blunderbusses and the Magma Cannons firing, and we did managed to do that, as well as keep away the fast movers. Our Sky Lanterns floated over the battlefield for the entire time and racked up plenty of damage as well. Lovely. Alright, another Scarecrow banner. I mean, it'll come in handy in an army or two. Fine. It's a pretty solid hex and all that. But anyway, a very nice fight against Gor-Rok and Co. with our 2 Sky Lanterns certainly showing up. 15k damage and 19k damage. In fact, outdoing the Magma Cannons or playing on par with the Magma Cannons, which is a pretty solid feat in and of itself. The problem, of course, the enemy army had basically no anti-air, and thus we could position these Sky Lanterns instead of with our army just in the center of the battlefield, allowing them to fire in all directions and just continuously fire non-stop over a very long battle, and a little bit of trickle damage certainly adds up. Again, I love the units on SFO, they're great. We have got a solid 10k damage on the Chaos Dwarfs, but they didn't need to fight quite as much in this battle as I thought they would, as the slow-moving Temple Guard did take quite a while to reach our battle line. We got 800 labor for it. We're gonna need it as we're about to be rushing a fair bit of stuff, so we'll transport those captives. Now, what is Gor-Rok's defeat trait here? Alright, you're gonna back off, and you're gonna back off. Probably won't be able to hit Itza in the same turn, but anyway, the defeat trait is... Expert charge offensive. Wow, that's terrible for Gor-Rok of all. Okay, we can still get the defeat trait on Scaff. Oh, he can't even reach it. Actually, he can just barely. All right, we'll get it on Scaff. He actually has expert charge defense, but on Alamasu he would not. So I guess it's free expert charge defense, if nothing else. Armor of silvered steel, not for you, sir, but it will come in handy. Bale Taurus for you. You can hold on to it for now, though as to whether we keep you on it remains to be seen. You're gonna go here. Scaff, you can still reach Gor-Rok by the looks of it, and then I guess Getkaz will reinforce this way. Exactly. Anyway, yeah, you kill this. Like so, and we'll auto-resolve this time, and I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't cripple any of our units because obnoxiousness. Let's see. I think we're okay. Alrighty, free Dragonbane Gem, which we can hopefully turn to something useful. We'll take the money since the healing, etc. is useless. Another channeling staff, and movable mountain, reptilian ravagers. There's that scarecrow banner, not for you. And then you will need to channel, and we won't be able to reach Itza in this turn, but that's just fine. You're going to heal up, so... Oh, actually, you're going to need to channel. Stay in our territory. You guys are... Oh, I can't quite tell. I need to make sure that they're right beside each other so that they can reinforce each other as needed. You're going to need to reinforce as well. And yeah, you channel, buddy. And... Oh, funnily enough, we could reach Itza with Izdubar. But we can't reach to Mackenzie. I'm willing to bet that, yeah, he'd definitely draw the garrison out. I would really prefer the giant pile of extra, you know, units out of this army, though. So I think we'll wait until next turn. Which, you know, fair enough. Alrighty, hopefully they don't immediately ask these guys to join in on the fun, which is a distinct possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see. The rest of this, I think, is good. We're not piecing out. We are keeping the ambush up and running. Got a little bit of cash out of that, but we don't really have the resources to spend on the stuff that we want to spend them on, so... I guess we're okay for this turn. We could actually do some sell-offs. Minus 1208, eh? This... Wait, I thought we... Yeah, we finished that. We're going for wartime economy. Oh, right, so we shouldn't rush the military structures because of the wartime economy thing. We could increase the armaments per turn, but the armaments is the one that I care about the least right now. We need more money and more of these mine shafts. I guess we could upgrade both of these Overseer's towers at fairly bit of an expense. And, ooh, we're actually very negative public order here, which ain't great either. But it is what it is, and we need to get the raw materials in order to get more money, so I don't see a choice in the matter. We should probably upgrade Blood Hall to get the public order going here. Why is this so negative? Oh, it's because of the Slaaneshi corruption. And this is with the set an example up and running. Wow. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. And did we get that public order technology? We did. That's with the public order technology. Okay, what we really need is the seat in the tower that will give us, or the seats, I should say, plural in the tower, that will give us the additional public order. Anyway, we will rush some stuff and transfer over some goods. So we'll do this. We'll build both of you at 10k, I know. And, even if we do that, we wouldn't be able to rush the underground caverns. I guess we could, we can't even start building them because we can't afford them unless we sell off. Wait a moment. What do we got in terms of sell-offs right now? Actually, a fair few provinces can sell off. Guanji Valley is minus... Okay, we need to probably fix the public order there. Zarmuta Triangle has a massive labor population, but yeah, we can sell that off. Alright, so let us sell off from here, here, and here. Then we will public orderize Guanji Valley. Right? Which one is that again? Yeah, it's this place. And this place should reasonably well fix itself. Wallatal. Oh, actually, you probably don't need the Fane Guard here anymore. Unless these guys sneakily send an army out this way, which would be neat, but I think we'll chance it, I guess. Let's actually start with the patrol routes here for the public order. Chakwa will need the defenses to remain. And I'm almost tempted to rush this. Yeah, just rush this, just to get that extra little bit of public order, though nonetheless we will go for the control, because, yeah, otherwise we're losing too much labor per turn. Alrighty, what else and where else do we have anything that could be of use? Now that we've rushed some, we could at least get one of these up and running. What will this do again? Oh, it will give us control in addition to the upkeep. The upkeep we don't actually care about, but the control we kind of do. Alright, fine. Go for this Overseer's Tower, and then rush this construction at cost. And we will go for the underground caverns, but we probably can't do the same thing here. We will build up the treasure trove and this other little locked stores, and then start on this thing. In fact, we can rush this cheap construction like so, and then start... Ooh. Would I have bothered with that? I'm now realizing that we need to still save some money to transfer over some of the labor, so we'll do this. Where can we store labor? Oh, well, we'll need to transfer at least some to here. Because otherwise it will not be at high efficiency. I guess we'll have to leave them here for now. I mean, I guess we could store some in Mosquito Swamp since it's at plus 26 currently, which is a fair bit. It's probably a decent place to store some of the labor. Alright, fine. You know what? Let's move 200 labor out of the Guanji Valley for now, and maybe out of here, and then out of here, and then despite the cost, we will transfer them to here. We'll transfer them out later, but right now I'd rather save the labor than save the money, essentially. At least I think. Alrighty, we'll see. Anyway, you should, in theory... Oh, actually... you know what? How much money is this going to cost us? Oh, not that much. In regular stance? Oh. This guy would be able to reach us. Okay, fine. I'm going to make you go out here, just outside of Ashalotl. I assume he's not going to try to attack us, though. A few Temple Guard would be potentially dangerous. But you have the mana to kill them with spells, if nothing else. Alright, the rest of that I think is good. We are saving Conclave Influence until we reach 450, or until one of the others takes one of the slots. So skip, 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 and end the turn. Wait. No, we're waiting until next turn, and these guys have moved as well. Alright, end the turn. Let's see how Itza reacts to this. I assume Mackenzie will go into Itza itself, rather than sit outside it, which is a bit of a shame, because once again, I would prefer a field battle, but it is what it is. And he's going to start recruiting. Watch him immediately pop off the right of, I want to say, Primeval Glory, the thing that gives him a stack of dinos. Wouldn't be so great for us. Decisive victory, eh? I think, despite the fact that this is a garbage army, you're in ambush, so you will not heal, so if half your army gets destroyed due to the medium casuals... Okay, let's just quickly fight this. The Masque is still going to be quite the annoyance, so yeah, alright, fine. Real quick. Alright, here we go. Just gonna do this ultra quick little fight against the Masque here. The Sorcerer Prophet is just going to go into the corner, basically, and hide, and also just withdraw if needed. Yeah, he gets revealed, but then he will withdraw, and or annoy the enemy, depending on which units come in there. Slaaneshi giggle. Oh, and the unit of the unit of Furies tried to move towards him without the Masque, and now followed up by the Hellstriders, but they will absolutely get torn to shreds and by the Kadai Fireborn. They really shouldn't have fed us weak units like this. Otherwise, with our main army moving onto the battlefield, the Masque will of course turn and move towards them, and we'll start tearing them apart with our range units. Actually, since the Masque's main army will not move towards that one single little lord, maybe we don't even need to withdraw him. We'll see. Anyway, the rest of our army is going to form up, but the Ogulkhan's Wolf Boys will lead the rest of the Wolf Raiders into the fray to annoy the Demonettes as they attempt to run. And Pincushion, that's the one. Pincushion them decently well. On the one hand, the Demonettes have massive physical resistance, being demonic units, but on the other hand, with basically no armor, it's not helping them all that much. Yeah, it would be nice to have a... It'd be nice to float over demonic units like this with the other Trickster Shard to remove all that physical resistance. I gotta keep that strategy in mind. Anyway, we move forward with the Ogulkhan's Wolf Boys, then it looks like they'll get hit with a chill wind from the enemy Druki Anointed. Well, then we know who our first target here is going to be. Oh, wow, okay, I did not expect that. Huh, wait, who cast... Huh? Who cast Slicing Shards here? Oh, the Druki Anointed has Lysing Shards too. Well, unfortunately, bad choice to use it on the mobile cab. Anyway, the Anointed rushes towards us, or at least attempts to do so, but is probably A, too slow, and B, not healthy enough to survive. There we go. And as he falls, the Masque rushes past him, but we stop her in her tracks, and with the Tormentor Sword, pop off that Plague of Rust and apply the shard. The other Trickster Shard by floating overhead, and the Masque gets completely annihilated, rather than being able to achieve anything. Ouch. Completely different than the last time, or the first time, that we fought her. The Forsaken of Slaanesh were moving towards us as well, but unlike the other two, they have no hope of even coming close to reaching the piles of Wolf Raiders, and it looks like they will shatter, leaving 1 or 2 units of Demonettes remaining on field, and it looks like our Lord is hidden again as the enemy move away. Oh, it looks like the Hellstriders survived the unit of Kadai. Oh, I suppose the Kadai unit did desummon at, I believe, 120 seconds, so maybe it didn't have enough time to kill them and the Furies, but not a big deal. They're not going to catch us, especially if we slow them down a little bit of Vortex into... Hey, get the heck away from us. No. What the heck? 105 speed versus 126 speed. How are you catching up? I know that you have Strider, but... we were running downhill, so what? Whatever, it doesn't matter as they get torn to shreds before they can kill off any of our units, and leaving 1 unit of Demonettes remaining on field. And they, however, will hopefully not be able to actually catch us, and should start to... there we go. Should start their banishment. Now it's just a matter of time. Frankly, I probably should have just, not bothered with doing this cinematically, but I was kind of interested in watching the Masque get torn to shreds very quickly this time around, as opposed to how it went last time. Alrighty, and the last few seconds of the fight as the last few Demonettes melt away. Come on now. And Plague of Rust just to slow them down a teensy bit and remove their, 5 or 10 armor, was it? And there we go. With that, the battle is ours. Alright, there we go. Quick little fight, not taking any chances once again with the Masque, and this time with the Tormentor Sword, just tear the Anointed, the Masque, and, well, pretty much everybody apart with arrow fire. We also got... it's about even in terms of labor and money, so I guess we'll take the money rather than selling it off. Alrighty. And also not losing it to, the labor reduction per turn, or whatever that's called. Workplace accidents. Anyway, ally mission successful. Oh, right, I forgot about that. And Rhythm Shield again, nice for you, I suppose. A victory over Slaanesh leadership and seduce units, sure. Standard of discipline, don't really care. Great Taurus for Kigal Hackhand convoy. Okay, fair enough. Wartime economy. That's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much what we're going for right now. Again, extended shifts versus... Alright, I was thinking about Ruinous negotiations. Unit experience gain, recruitment reduction for all units. Oh, this will actually serve decently well soon. Income from raiding we don't really care about. Raising and sacking. Eventually this will come in very handy, but right now it's not. I mean, you know what? Grab mandatory service. I might even grab martial training. I'll think about it. It'll probably come in handy to some degree. Alrighty, then. Do we spot any of these guys off our coast? No. Once again, we have to check Camry. Join war against the followers of Nagash. Still no. And then what about... Not this. Find the Bretonnians. Bretonnia, Chevalier de Lyonesse. Join war against the followers of Nagash. Still no. Come on. Alrighty. Well, hopefully it'll happen. But I fully expect to see some of their armies shortly, so we need to be prepared and we need to split these guys up and we need to have units and such ready to go for that particular time. You guys go this way. I would also like to check lords for... Nope, Bilious and Irate, don't care. Alrighty, you guys are going to besiege the Chamber of Visions, although if we use one of the... I was about to say use one of the other lords for this, we could move you towards the Golden Ziggurat faster, but the problem being Karn Kurgan Tamer, and the fact that he just killed the garbage. But nonetheless, we could still make use of the extra movement. Alright, so fine. Okani Trui will send you here. Like so. Yeah, don't worry about it again. Then we will use you to reinforce in, I guess, channeling stance. Like so. Ragnian Zaled, I would like you to move past these guys. Oh, it's gonna take all your movement pretty much anyway, but whatever. Go here, wait, go here. Will you save enough? I was hoping you'd save enough movement range to reinforce with, yeah, whatever. Ambush, or we'll be able to ambush after, but no dice. Alright, well, no dice is no dice. You guys will attack this in a second. I assume we once again can't risk auto-resolving because the auto-resolve hates this army. I mean, against this garbage, is this a minor settlement? It's not even a minor settlement. Come on, game, come on. Alright, fine. We'll deal with that in a bit. Let's see what else we have to deal with. So, Itza, Izdubar Grimtidson, you will be the one striking this place. Though the magma cannons aren't great at bringing down buildings, well, somebody has to. You're gonna go here and besiege Itza. And it's pretty fantastic defenses. You have 2 Scarecrow banners? Okay, we should probably put the other Scarecrow banner into another army. Alright, let's do that. Then we will want to reinforce with all of you guys and the pile of garbage. Go like this, so that you approach from the same direction, roughly. You can't be intercepted because these are the only guys you're at war with. These guys still locked in... Yes, they are still fighting the rats. If that ends, they'll immediately declare war on us. We gotta watch out for that. These still not taken? Ugh, come on. Hopefully our allies managed to do that at some point. And you two, I mean, I guess you can camp for the additional... Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to keep you in channeling so that you can max out your mana. And you as well. At some point. You're also losing your mana, which ain't great. Now, you guys, I don't care about your levels, but you guys, I very much do care about your levels. Let's get all-terrain vehicle. We need that Strider for War Machine. And you know what? Let's grab Infernal Engineer as well. Much as I love the transmutation of lead, that can wait. You, my friend, are going to... you know what? Maybe we go... Well, you know what? We gotta go through flow of battle, so regardless of that, let's grab... Oh, +1 leadership. And go for it. Are these guys having the aura... leadership aura thing, we could also give them crowns of command in theory. And then the Infernal Castellan, piercing shots because we're trying to get towards extra powder, and then you, sir. And we did the Headdress of Jar last time, and I believe we are... Oh. For some reason I thought Crushing Charge would also include the Skullcrackers, but it does not. Skullcrackers are together with Kadai, Lamasu, and all of this other stuff. Huh. It's a little bit of a shame, but nonetheless, I kind of wanted to see if that would work with the Bull Centaur renders. Oh, I know why. It's because Wretched Warhost. Yeah, see, these guys share Wretched Warhost, not Hellish Blows or Crushing Charge. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Casting-wise, we're fine. I still haven't decided on this, though careful casting is once again a decent thing to get. You know what, hold on to your point for now. Until I figure it out. Now, we do have immediate breaches in the walls, but this is still going to be iffy with all of those Temple Guard within the settlement, but we do have the giant piles of Goblin Laborers. Actually, if we can make it up on top of the walls to fire down on the Temple Guard below, that would be quite effective. And, oh, did I take the one? Okay, yeah, you can have that back, sir. I guess we're just going to attack like this then. Alright, fair enough. Attack like this we shall. We could actually probably wait for them to sally out, but I think with Arcan moving towards us, we can't afford to wait, so attack. Alrighty, no speeches this time apparently, but we will let our artillery do the talking, and hopefully, since the magma... Oh, that's not good. Since hopefully the magma cannons will actually be able to bring down enough of the enemy towers, as we've seen before, magma cannons are not... Huh! I've just traveled through the tower, that's interesting. What was I saying? They're not very good at bringing down towers, so a volley from all three only does a little over 2,000 HP damage to a fort tower with 20,000 HP, and we probably won't have the ammunition at the very least to bring down both the towers and the gate or make any breaches in the walls, but we'll see. Looks like the first tower will fall at the cost of about 30% of our ammunition. It might even out with exactly 3 towers, but that's okay. And we do have the benefit of having the 2 skullcrackers in this particular army, as they are able to attack buildings, and while they can't attack towers, they can tear through gates and walls, like with, well, maybe not without a problem, but reasonably quickly, let's say. Certainly faster than our other units for tearing through the gate. Anyway, 2 of the towers are done, and a third one's about to fall, and our reinforcements have arrived, so we will have the, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 units of gob laborers to send at the enemy when needed. Now I just noticed that some of those projectiles were hitting the trees. That ain't great. And, oh, it looks like we just... one of your units has used all of its ammunition. That was the very last volley of the very last magma cannon to take down 3 towers. Interesting. I guess one magma cannon has just enough ammunition to bring down 1 tower by itself, huh? Go figure. Alrighty, well, either way, it's time to start moving towards the enemy gate. We'll actually have the Bull Centaur Torok start whacking away at it, as we want to start a little bit of ranged work from our limited range units, i.e., move the skullcrackers, the skull lanterns, might be a decent name for one of them. Now move the Sky Lanterns towards the enemy army and start plinking away at that enemy unit of Ripperdactyl Riders. They have me greatly concerned with their they're anti-infantry. I was thinking of the Colossedon Hunters, but anyway, their massive melee attack at the very least. And they would be able to bring down the Sky Lanterns with these, so hopefully we can support them with these 2. And keep firing away. I would like to, if possible, position the Sky Lanterns over the entire enemy army and just have them continuously firing upon them over the course of the battle. Speaking of being continuously fired upon, it looks like the sort of solar beams of the towers have been joined by a solar engine, which has gone just on a cliff and just high enough, just elevated enough, or 2 of them actually, to fire upon our blobs of laborers. I suppose it's slightly annoying, but at the same time, I'd really rather them go after the laborers than our Sky Lanterns, so it is what it is. Alright, finally it's time for the enemy units of Ripperdactyls to make their appearance and attempt to fight our 2 flyers. The Tauruses will hopefully survive long enough to kill these guys up, but just to make sure, we'll pop off that Cascading Fire Cloak, bumping up our melee defense to 105. While we get a little bit of support fire from the Sky Lanterns, and as they move into, deeper into the enemy settlement. And it does look like the solar engines are continuing to fire upon the enemy unit, or our units of laborers, so that works for us. There is also a Stegodon in here, however, which is beginning to fire upon the Sky Lanterns, and oh, actually doing some damage to them. They're both actually fairly damaged. Okay, that means as soon as the Reproductors are out, everybody here is going to have to try to focus that Stegodon down before it knocks any of these guys out of the sky. As that would be unfortunate. It looks like the solar engines are doing a decent job. They've cleared out one unit of the laborers so far, with plenty more to go, but, you know, let's let them keep expending their ammunition. I am, at this point, not even wanting to move them out of there, because if the enemy can fire upon them, they're not firing upon anything more important. Anyway, the gate has been broken through by the Bull Centaur Chorfs, but the breach has been filled by a unit of Kroxigors, which is going to be very difficult to deal with here. As while the Centaur Tor can dish out damage, it's going to be very slow going, killing off a unit of Kroxigors without any anti-large, without the blunderbusses firing into this, though we could, in theory, bring up the blunderbusses to fire through the breach and kill off all of our other units as well. Anyway, looks like we have got a little bit of spell work going for us. There are some Temple Guard milling around, and we're going to drop a Gehenna's Golden Hounds, a Flamestorm, and another Gehenna's Golden Hounds on them. Unfortunately, they have so much HP that this isn't going to destroy any of them, but it will at least damage them for the future while we continue firing upon that Stegodon, which has lost about 40% of its HP at this point, traded for about 50% and 30% HP from the Sky Lanterns. Ooh, it does look like these solar engines have now targeted our flyers. Well, I've got to get those last few spells on top of the blobs of Temple Guard, while we continue to work through the Kroxigors and irritate the enemy. And what is this? Oh, they have a Reviv crystal nearby, that's why. I was wondering how this unit of Kroxigors was able to hold against the Torok and 4 heroes, granted, weak heroes in the form of the Sorcerer Prophets and the Demon Smiths, but, well, the Torok is there. And yeah, Kroxigors with their pretty intense tankiness, as well as that Reviv crystal, means it's going to be very long bringing them down. But oh well, slowly but surely. Death by several thousand cuts from the little hobgobs as well, or the gob laborers. Anyway, looks like the Stegodon is down to 20% of its HP now. And I had originally figured that maybe we actually send these skull crackers around. There are breaches in the walls here, but our reinforcements were not going to get close enough, and I didn't want to run across the entire sort of field of towers. And I figured what we could do, in theory, is activate the more power, move through the breach, and then quick capture the key building and probably even the victory location, because most of the enemy army would be too slow to reach them, and even if they did, we could summon the Khedai Fireborn to block them off and kill them with the Skullcrackers while we captured. But I felt that that would be too cheap, and I decided not to do it. I mean, I suppose in an emergency we could always still do it if we can't get through that darn wall of Kroxigors. And they're still fighting, still 12 units. Huh, they were at 10 units, weren't they? I guess they got revivified. Go figure. That's a decent amount of healing as well. Heals injured before resurrecting, so it healed all of the others to full before it resurrected some new ones. Well, I just gotta keep asking them some poignant questions. How's that Bull Centaur Torok doing? He hasn't taken all that much in the way of damage himself, however, and has done about 8,000 himself, so again, we have time to slowly but surely kill off these guys. As long as we have ammunition on the Sky Lanterns, we can take advantage of their presence here and continue firing into the blobs of enemies below. The Stegodon has at long last been brought down by the combination, primarily damage from the Sky Lanterns, as these guys' pistol work doesn't do all that much, and it's mostly spell damage that they have here. And out of curiosity, we are at 8,000 and 6,000 damage. Nothing crazy, but like I've said before with the Sky Lanterns, it does add up over time. Huh, I wonder, does hitting a barrier count as damage for these guys? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I suppose it's not all that important, but anyway, we still have to make our way through that breach, so I think we've seen enough of this portion of the siege, so I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. The Sky Lanterns will continue firing, and we're going to now position our Skullcrackers towards the walls. The blunderbusses move in at last and start firing at least on some units, but it's the Skullcrackers bringing down the walls that's going to matter. Probably could have done this a little bit earlier with the blunderbusses, but I kept them hidden in the trees because while those solar engines had ammunition, which they no longer do, the blunderbusses would have been in danger, and they are pretty critical to this. Anyway, at long last, the giant pile of laborers and the bull centaur Gor-Rok cuts down the Kroxigors, and we're starting to make our way into the enemy settlement. Took a little bit, but well worth the effort, I suppose, as the rest of our units move up as these Skullcrackers tear down the walls and get the Chaos Dwarf Warriors getting ready to fight. Alright, let's also speed this up while they tear those down. Come on now, and there we go. Down goes wall 1, down goes wall 2. Probably could have actually made a few more breaches to sort of ease our ingress, but oh good. And the breach has been made, and it looks like the Temple Guard and Cold One Spear Riders and whatnot head towards the gateway, but that's just fine. Our Bull Centaur Gor-Rok is itching to continue his fighting. He's up to 29 kills and 15k damage. Very solid. Alright. And the first of our Chaos Dwarf Warriors make their way into the city. And admittedly, it is taking a while to do this, but this is Itza. This is one of the hardest targets, generally speaking. And especially with all that extra barrier and the defensive capabilities that is offered to the AI, or to whoever owns Itza, I guess. I always get surprised when Itza actually falls to any of the AIs, like when the rats manage to take it. I'm always shocked, because I don't know how they manage to do this. I mean, obviously they managed to auto-resolve it, but I'm surprised that the auto-resolve favors them at all. Anyway, it's time for the G'day Fireborn to make their way onto the battlefield, facing off against Cold Ones with their Feral Cold Ones, with their armor piercing, and the Temple Guard as well, with a little bit of help from the Skullcrackers. This primarily to serve as distraction, as we don't want the enemy to plug the breaches in the walls in the same way that they plugged the breach from the gate. And this will allow the Blazing Beards of Bajrak and the other Chaos Dwarf Warriors to move into the enemy settlement and set up and start setting up the blunderbusses on top of the walls. Here, the Granite Guard will begin firing down on the enemy below, specifically looking to target that Reviv Crystal, which is the only one that the enemy has, and is, or was, critical to the enemy's defenses. You were supposed to die when I finished that line. Anyway, and down it goes at long last. The G'day serve their purpose and melt away, and it looks like we have entered the settlement from several directions. Now we're still fighting outside the breach. In fact, have been pushed back directly into the gate. And again, we could have positioned a blunderbuss here, but it probably would have killed more of our own units than theirs. Granted, a lot of laborers, but you know, even our laborer numbers are limited. Anyway, the Blazing Beards of Bajrak, however, will take a leaf out of the enemy's book, or page out of the enemy's book, and plug this gate in the way, or this sort of line, this choke point, in the same way that the enemy has plugged that gate. Now there we go, and all of these Saurus and Temple Guard are not going to quickly, at least, be able to get through those Blazing Beards. Though with only 63 melee defense, they're not all that high. You gotta remember, they're still basic Chaos Dwarf Warriors at the end of the day. And ooh, I just saw a Sky Lantern drop from the sky as a unit of Razor Dawn hunting packs arrives on the field, and they take down a second Sky Lantern. We're booking the other two out of there before they get destroyed, and emergency touchdown with the Sorcerer Prophet to distract these guys. Their damage dealing is so dang high, 258 missile strength, bleed, armor piercing, and 32 units. It's a very, very dangerous unit if you will let it do its thing. Which we can't afford to. So, Sorcerer Prophet's going to have to deal with them as best it can. They are fortunately fairly fragile, though actually not so bad in melee against a single entity. Like this side wager. They got 90 armor after all, and their melee attack and defense isn't too bad. But the Sorcerer Prophet will hopefully be able to distract them just fine. In the meantime, the Centaur Gor-Rok, who's been in the fight for about 23 minutes, maybe a little bit less as it took a few minutes to break through the gate, but has been in the fight for absolute ages. 24k damage now, and but down to about 20% of his HP. Now this fella has certainly earned his place, earned his keep. A very long time in battle against some pretty solid foes with all these Kroxigors and Temple Guard and Saurus. Alright, the Blazing Beards of Bergerac are still in the fight, and we've now moved in blunderbusses to aid in support, or to fire in support of them. We are unfortunately out of magic at this point, so we can't simply kill off all of these guys with magic, but all good. Our one Sky Lantern still fires into the enemy, and the bounce power has shifted to about 75%, maybe closing in on 80% in our favor. Looks like we did manage to get those Razor Dawns running, though the Basti with Solar Engine does come down. We're going to back the Sorcerer Prophet off before it does too much damage. And the Skullcrackers are now annoying the enemy main line as best they can, charging through those lines of Saurus and Temple Guard. Just gotta be careful about these guys getting trapped by Temple Guard and, you know, the anti-large tearing them to shreds. All good. Now that we've also moved in a bunch of laborers into the blob, we are more free to fire upon the piles of enemies with our blunderbusses, and allow the Blazing Beards of Bergerac partly to rest and partly to line up some shots with their naphtha bombs, as they do still have their ammunition. Or at least they have enough for one volley. I'm gonna get a breath in from that Bale Taurus onto the enemy blob. And it looks like we're actually clearing them pretty okay at this point. There's still a blob here. The Bull Centaur Gor-Rok has moved out. There's the naphtha bomb volley. There we go. And the last of these defenders have been cleared out and shattered. And in fact, the last of all of the defenders look like they're just about done. Only the dinos with the solar engines remain. And by the looks of it, no other units. Oh, actually, there is one unit, a skink cohort with javelins that didn't participate, but you know, it's a skink cohort. They would have gotten torn apart pretty quickly. And frankly, the enemy probably could have used the Basties with solar engines to help plug the breach, and it would have taken at least a little bit longer, but by virtue of them towering over the rest of the enemy units, they would have been ripe targets for our blunderbusses anyway. At least as soon as the blunderbusses made their way into the settlements. Like so, there we go. Blunderbuss begins firing at the Basti, dropping its barrier pretty much immediately. And while the animation of the dino keeps taking it forward into bigger and bigger blobs of laborers, it will break fairly quickly. And, I mean, let's face it, there were way more laborers where that came from. And frankly, there's even still more laborers waiting outside. Anyway, the Bull Centaur Gor-Rok, just sort of hobbling along, probably from all of his wounds, will chase down the Basti with Solar Engine to make sure that it doesn't rally outside the settlement. And we just have one more to take out, but I do believe it will shatter as soon as the barrier drops. And, oh, there's a third one. I guess the AI really wanted to use these guys as artillery rather than as, you know, artillery monsters in this particular case. But anyway, they charge on in briefly. Still quite impressive that they haven't shattered, but all good. Once again, the blunderbuss volleys will clear them out, and there's no way they break through all the lines of laborers. And as we can see, our own blunderbusses are ripping through our laborers, but worth it to shoot a dino, I suppose. And there we go. With that, no, this one's still kicking. Good lord. Well, it is Itza, the enemy's capital. Kinda makes sense that they desperately don't want to go, but this is probably giving the skinks at least some PTSD, because the milling piles of laborers are probably reminiscent of the giant hordes of Skaven slaves they had to deal with when Clan Pestilence invaded Lustria. I got nothing left to say, but I'm just waiting for this last Basti. And it's going to keep sending those poor laborers flying with every swipe of its tail. We're just going to move some blunderbusses into position and fire upon it in a few seconds. I wonder if the I wonder if this Sky Lantern's a physical object. No, it seems that we can fire through it. There we go. One volley from 2 or 3 blunderbusses takes the Basti down to half of its HP. It shatters, and with that, the battle is at long last ours. Itza falls, and this faction is, well, actually they have one more settlement remaining, but pretty much crippled. Ooh, we earned a Banner of Eternal Flame from that. Very, very nice. That will certainly help out against Arcan. Otherwise, a rather tough siege. 17k damage and 208 kills on that one Basti with Solar Engine firing into our mobs of laborers. We also got, well, obviously the Temple Guard holding ground for absolute ages. Those Kroxagors just held that gate for an obnoxious amount of time. 102 kills and 16k damage just holding us back until we tore through the walls. And with the Skullcrackers, speaking of the Skullcrackers, at 38k damage and 32k damage, they were the MVPs, plus the Bull Centaur Torek with 28k damage, and actually more good damage dealt as gold value than one of the Skullcrackers, as he was anchoring the line and was the first through the breach in the gate. The Blazing Beards of Bajorag did well with the 20k damage primarily coming in from Naphtha Bomb chucking into the enemy blobs. Obviously our Spellcaster did okay. Spellcasters 40k apiece, and the Sky Lantern 17k damage and 14k, though one of them took some severe damage from that darn unit of the Razordons. Yes. Otherwise, it's a pretty glorious win here, because Itza is one of the harder targets in the game, and taking it right now is quite nice for us. We occupied his tower. I'd love to use the Conclave Influence to up it to tier 3 or whatever, but we can't do so right now. But our Conclave Influence is climbing, and this is a significant, well, significant development, generally speaking. Ew, Dragonbane Gem, disgusting. And Luckstone, we can mix that with the Dragonbane Gem to hopefully something useful. And hello, Immortals, Infernal Ironsworn, that will be nice in an army. I might actually give those to Izdubar Grimtide. Do they do fire damage? They do. And unlike the Dwarf Warriors, they don't actually need the bonus armor given by an Infernal Castellan, though admittedly, or not a Castellan, or rather the Bellicose Overseers. With the +4/+4 is nice. 15 armor. I will think about it, but they might work nicely here if we move these guys to the Bellicose Overseer guy. However, we'll have to do that next time, as that was a heck of a long siege, and I think we're out of time. Hey, we got to keep the gold mine. Nice. Efficient. Yeah, it was a heck of a long siege, but well worth the effort. For the strip mine here and start accepting labor as well. And we'll make Itza into a raw material generating thing. Lots of money and raw materials, hopefully. We need to get this up to like 10k, really, as fast as we possibly can. Anyway, with Itza destroyed, I don't imagine that the, well, Itza faction will easily recover. They obviously don't want peace with us, but with one settlement, and I assume a minor settlement? I'm not entirely sure. Well, hopefully they'll get overrun by the Clan Pestilence. Unfortunately, they won't peace out with us, as I'd rather leave them alone and deal with other problems, but, well, problems are just going to have to keep creeping up. That's what happens when you're a middle manager here, and, with questionable competence, we'll continue the conquest of Lustria. We are finally closing in on the Mine of Bearded Skulls as well, but we do need to take out the Cursed Troop, and then hit the Clan Pestilence Skaven from both sides, while defending against the encroaching Tomb Kings. Yeah. But we will deal. We will overcome. Anyway, stay tuned for more Chaos Dwarfs. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.